Hi guys, it's Isa. Today we're gonna see my April TBR. Okay, this TBR will be divided in three buckets. The first one is new releases. The second one, new series that I'm starting, but they are not new. And the third one, it's continuation of series that I have ongoing. So I foresee this month to have a little bit more time to read, and that's why I've added a little bit more of adult fantasy into my TBR. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the new releases. There are three, and out of those three, I want to read two. This one that I for sure want to read, which is Hotel Magnifique, which I will be buddy reading with Jess from Honest Fiction. But then there are other two that I'm really in the fence between them. So please let me know down below what is the one that you prefer that I read, and then I will do that. And those books are Blood, Scion and Kaikeyi. So let's get into them first. Starting with Blood, Scion. First, gorgeous book cover. Gorgeous. And then the story also calls to me. It's a release of the last month actually, and this follows our main girl Sloan, who is the descendant of the Orisha, and he has a fire power. She can incinerate people. Having these powers really puts her into a great peril, and she has been very mistreated. It seems that one day she has the opportunity to get into kind of like the army of some sorts, and she decides to infiltrate there, start raising ranks, and then destroy these people from within as a kind of revenge. And so the things that I like: first, fire magic.
I'm a sucker of elemental magic, and so I really loved it.
Then second, this Orisha magic, it really calls to me in a way. But then the things that are not as much thrilling is the revenge plot. I'm really not such a big fan of characters that has as a main motive revenge and that don't grow from that point. It seems that in this story it's not only revenge, but you know, like a little bit more of all the stuff. So that's why I'm also interested. So there's one. Let me know how interested are you in this one for me to read it. And then the second one is Kaikeyi, which again, it also has this exotic setting vibe, and this is kind of a retelling of a very famous Hindu story. And the thing is that this main character, Kaikeyi, it's kind of like the bad one. So this story, it's told under the point of view of the evil character, and we will see her, you know, like throughout all of the story. And these will follow our main girl, as it's kind of like the princess of this realm, and she has grown up all of her life kind of like believing in magic, in fantastic things, but it seems that the only thing that awaits her is to be married. And so she kind of like goes away. She needs to also find her space, and she ended up having a very important role, and you know, the story unfolds from there. Things that I like: again, it's very interesting to have this point of view of someone that it's supposed to be evil, I believe, or I'm sensing that this is gonna be a very grey story, and it seems that there's also a great element of women and the relationship between them. There's kind of like this motherhood, sisterhood kind of like vibe to it, which I'm really interested in. And then the things that I liked a little bit less are actually the same, because if those aren't played out well, I'm gonna spend like the whole book just, you know, like, this is cringy, I'm not sure if I'm liking this, that kind of vibe. So I'm just really in the fence. Let me know which one out of those two you really prefer me to read. Then going into Hotel Magnifique is a YA fantasy series that is supposed to be perfect for the lovers of Caramel, which I am. And I must confess, the story is pretty similar. We will be following two sisters as they have a very hard life and they really want to escape. And so one day, this Hotel Magnifique comes and they start to apply to work in this hotel. This hotel, as you can imagine, it's magical, because for starters, it changes places. The story, however, gets at some point in which once that these sisters start to get into the hotel, they cannot escape. So this is supposed to have this also kind of thriller vibe on how to get out, changing into the second bucket of new series. For me, mainly, we will have adult fantasy stories. The first one, and please let's acknowledge its beautiful cover, it's The Priory of the Orange Tree. This is a standalone. It's a little bit chunky, but I'm really having my hopes really up. I'm really expecting this to be as good as The Sword of Kaikeyi was, which was one of my favorite books of last year. This story is supposed to be having like two sides of it. It's supposed to be in a realm where we will be having kind of like the east and the west, right? In one side we will have this woman that is learning how to ride dragons, and in the other one we will have this princess queen kind of like, and people that surrounds her. It seems that these both lands are kind of like not really connected, and that a massive evil thing is emerging, putting them all into danger. So
I'm really, please.
then we continue with an adult fantasy story that it's supposed to be a little bit fun, which is Kings of the Wyld. This story follows a band of people that, you know, they were together a while ago and they were like really famous, and they were like
The most dangerous out there, and they were the best killing monsters.
the thing is that time has passed, they are mostly drunken now, and they are kind of like fat and a little bit old. But one day the band needs to be reunited because the daughter of one of the members of this band is in danger. It seems that she has been kidnapped and the band needs to reunite again. It's supposed to be a story full of banter with a great vibes, with a story that it's thrilling. And then we move to Jade City. I have been pushing this away for a long time because I'm not sure if this story is going to be for me, because it's mainly kind of like an urban fantasy and because there is so much revenge as the main thread. But I'm here, I'm willing to try. This is a nation-inspired story that talks about different bands in this land. In this land, it's supposed to have Jade, and Jade for these people plays a very important role because it allows them to have a little bit of magic. And we're supposed to see really political scenes that put the different bands kind of like hating each other. There's a little bit of the good father here. It seems that the Jade, it's being dealt, they don't really know how, and you know, these different families that classically were having this Jade will fight savagely between themselves. It looks thrilling. If you've already read this, let me know your thoughts, let me know if you believe I'm gonna like it or if you did, and let's see from there. Then we have another story which I believe it's super different, but again, it's a little bit of a leap for me, and it's the Starless Sea. The Starless Sea is supposed to be a story about stories, and this is supposed to follow our main man, Zachary, and he one day discovers kind of like this book that, surprise surprise, has a story about his childhood. And so he is like, wait a minute, my childhood, putting him on a path of discovering some clues that led him into this kind of masquerade ball. And from that point onwards, he will discover that there's kind of like this place that lets you kind of like travel to other places. The story, it's supposed to be magical, the writing whimsical. Then the last book in this bucket, we have His Majesty's Dragon, which is supposed to be a story inspired in the Napoleonic Wars, and it's supposed to also have dragons. This story is supposed to follow this Colonel Wyld, and he will one day discover, or kind of like steal, an unhatched dragon egg, and that's the point when the story starts to unravel. I honestly don't know much more because I don't want to go with high expectations. And getting into the last bucket, which will only consist on one book, let me tell you, I want to continue with the Zodiac Academy, this time book 4. So I've been reading Zodiac Academy since, I believe, the beginning of the year. I've been liking it so far. It's very much a bullying story that somehow you get addicted to it. And this story follows two sisters, two twins. One day they receive kind of like a visit from this professor that tells them that they are fae, but not regular, but actually the heirs of the throne, and that, you know, the powers need to be honed, so they need to go into the fae world and get into the Zodiac Academy so that they can train. The thing is that when they arrive, they discover that they are very powerful.
But of course, this doesn't sit well to the people that it's currently ruling.
And that was it for today. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel. I publish bookish content every Tuesday and Friday for you to enjoy. Let me know down below what are the books that you are planning to read this month and what are the books that you prefer me to read. And let's see each other soon. Happy reading. Bye!